Hi there. So today I'll be showing an example of some Windows Server maintenance. I have two VMs, virtual machines, both Windows Server 2019, just hosted on my computer. It's in this domain.local, or they're both in this domain.local. And so what we're going to do is gather all the available Windows updates, display them, install them, and then email out a list of everything that was installed as well. And this will all be done through Windows PowerShell. So I'll be going over this script here, and then we'll run it as well to show it in action. Okay, so the first thing this script will do is gather some information about the two virtual machines, and then test their connections, and then create some arrays for later. So this connections one is just the two IP addresses of the two virtual machines, and then it will go through a for each loop and test the ping them, basically, is what test connection is doing. And we also create a server array, which is just going to be the server names that were generated for these two Windows Server 19 virtual machines. And we'll create an updates array to be filled and used later as well. Okay, so the next part will be creating commands to install the updates that are available. This will be done in a try-catch block. So use the updates array using this invoke command, which will run these commands, so in the check and then install on all the servers in the servers array, which is the two virtual machines in this domain. Then there'll be an application array here, which is using this get apex package command, and that's going to check for all available updates for all the users, and we're going to query all these properties here. There's more you can query, but we'll just use those for now. So we'll check if any applications are there in the application array. If there's not any, it will create a placeholder object just so that there will be some output later in the script, even if there isn't any updates to install. If there is found updates, then it's going to check for each update or application update available. It's going to check the states of all these properties. If it doesn't know, the default is just unknown. Then everything that is found will be put into a real object with all the properties that we're going to display. Like I said, there's more you can output, but we'll just use these for now. I'm just using placeholder dates. A couple times the start time and deadline gave me errors. And then the try catch is used with this error action stop. So if any errors come up when checking for these updates, it will throw or catch the exception and then write out some errors here. So it'll be outputted in red into the PowerShell console. Okay, so after the first try catch block and creating the object with all the application update information, this will be some display information next. So we'll create a grid view, which will appear when running the script. So you'll see that when the script is run. And then we'll also create a CSV file and output the results into the CSV file. So Excel isn't installed on this virtual machine, but it does create the file, and you can just view it in Notepad with all those queried properties and then the information retrieved, and then the two VMs that are going to receive the updates. Next, it's going to find out the most recent reboot time and get some service information from those two computers. So it'll go through the two servers list and then find when they were most recently rebooted and output that into the console. And then this will also check for the services running on those two virtual machines and then output them into a table into the console here. This try catch block also has error catching, so any errors during this phase will be output into the console in red as well. So after we've gathered all this information and output it into the files we want or display, we will actually go to the updating portion. So we'll create a new update session here and a searcher for all of the available updates. Then the results will be outputted into this updates array. And then the updates array will be checked if there is any updates found, and it will output no updates found if their array is empty. If it is finding updates, it will output that updates were found. And then it will create a download session, and it will download the available updates here. And then it will create an installer. So create update installer. Installer will use updates from the updates array, and then the installer will install them. Right now it's commented out because actually installing these updates every time this script is run takes quite a while, but I will show it install them at the end for one example. Okay, so the final step before I run this script will be to email the information. So we're going to create a variable with all this parameters that will be used in the email. So from my 2 YouTube account emails, the subject and then the body, which will say please review the updates installed. We're going to be using the SMTP server, Microsoft's SMTP server Office 365. It's going to request the credential, so I'll have to log into the emailing out this information, so the Outlook one. And then it's going to attach our CSV file using port 587. And then it will email everything in our send email info variable. And it will also create a copy of the CSV onto a network drive that's available to these 2 virtual machines in the domain, as well as the actual desktop that is hosting the 2 virtual machines. Okay, so the last thing to do will be to run the script. So I have a PowerShell window open here, and we'll run it. This will be without the installs actually going through. I'll just show the results of the installs after, because it will take forever otherwise. But yeah, I'll start running it. I don't know why that took a few clicks, but yeah. So yeah, now it's checking the connections. Those are pings from this server to the other VM. This is our output list of the available updates, the grid view that was mentioned. So now it is going to be checking the reboot times of the 2 servers. So earlier today, and then it's going to display the list of services running on the 2 servers in this outputted table. There's quite a few, or they should be exactly the same, just the default services. Now it's checking for all the updates. This takes a minute usually, but it should say updates found. Okay, so yeah, updates found came up, and then this is the get credential for the email to go through. So I will type in the Outlook one. Hopefully I type it right. 1L. And the password as well. I think that's correct. It will give me an error otherwise. Yeah, so error there. Result code there. And yeah, so that email should come through. I'll show that, and this is the updates version here. Just updated now. Yep. And created 2 minutes ago when the script was running. So this is the network folder. Once again, this doesn't have Excel. So yeah, I will show the email and the results when the installs actually go through just next. So I ran the script, but the updates installed. I didn't actually record that one. Unfortunately, I didn't take a snapshot of this VM. So I'm not going to make a whole new VM and get it set up on the domain. But I'll make another video about snapshot maintenance in the future, or virtual machine maintenance in the future. But basically, here's the script. Same stuff as before, the boot times, the connection tests, all the services running on the 2 machines. And then at the end here, we'll say no updates found because they were already installed on one of the runs where I didn't capture it. But yeah, it will install the updates and then reboot your computer after. And then here is the email of the CSV that gets sent. Here's my Gmail. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, any questions, leave them in the comments. Have a good day.